Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Thursday, August 7th, 2025, and I'm coming at you live from a butt filled with poop. More specifically, my butt and my poop. Because I don't know what it is. I am just filled to the brim with poop right now. Absolutely bursting at the seams, dude. I'm like a stuffed animal at Build-A-Bear, and someone didn't take their foot off that little pedal, when they're filling up the teddy bear, and That's that's what I am. I don't know what it is because I had a release earlier today. Not the greatest I've ever had, but nothing to scoff at either. Just a nice big log. What didn't go the length of the toilet, which I have had before. That is something one of my special skills, and it's maybe why I've never been hired at a job before because I always put it on my resume. Like, yeah, one time I dropped a turd that was the length of the toilet. um, but I don't know what it is. I'm just filled with poop right now. And I do think part of the reason this has been a poop-filled summer for me is really the lack of fiber. I haven't been eating a whole ton of fiber. I haven't been munching on the apples or the fruits and the vegetables and stuff like that. I haven't really been eating junk food either. Not a whole ton of it, I guess. Just mostly meat, eggs, and like dairy, which I mean, that's a recipe for that's a recipe for some obsidian turds. That's a recipe for something that could break a diamond. You know what I mean? Like that's something they say nothing can melt a diamond, nothing can like scratch a diamond or crush it or whatever. I got some unfortunate news for you because I think I might have discovered something, and it's called my rock hard. I mean, when that thing hits the toilet, I'm talking about just it's like a thunk. It's like usually it's like a splash if it's a big one, or there's no noise at all. This isn't. This is a splash, man. This is like that clip from SpongeBob. If you've ever seen SpongeBob, they'll like randomly play that one clip sometimes of like the nuclear bomb going off in the ocean. I would say that's that's kind of what we're dealing with here, dude. This isn't a kiss of Poseidon situation. If you don't know, the kiss of Poseidon is when you drop a turd and that little splashback comes up and hits you right in the boing hole, dude. Just a nice, nice natural bidet. That's that's what the kiss of Poseidon or the kiss of Neptune, depending on whether you're Greek or Roman. um, but this isn't the kiss, dude. This is the punch. This is the Mike Tyson knockout punch of Poseidon. That's what I'm dealing with these rock hard turds, dude. I don't know how the pipes are dealing with it. We must have like a garbage disposal in our in our toilet pipes at my house because these are some straight up gravel. You could pave a road with some of the turds that I'm dropping, but a garbage disposal in a toilet system, not a bad idea, right? Because you always hear about you like these globs that form in like the sewer system, especially when people use like baby wipes or whatever, and it just like mixes with fat and it forms like these huge, if you don't know, I wouldn't say look up the pictures. It looks like something straight out of like Resident Evil or like The Last of Us or something. It's just like this huge fucking glom of like poop and like toilet paper. It's disgusting. But that's like a major problem in like US sewer systems because we need baby wipes for stuff. I don't use baby wipes. I I really don't use a whole ton of toilet paper either. I can tell it's a ghost wipe when I have one. I'll usually hit it just in case if it's a ghost wipe situation, just to double check, just to ensure that it is truly a ghost wipe. And that really is a great moment. I played football in high school and I didn't really start a whole bunch of games, but one of the games I did start, the starting right guard was out and I had to come in and we won our league title for the first time in like 20 years or 30 years or something like that. But a ghost wipe on an absolute monster is an infinitely better feeling than that. I'll say I don't know. It's like I said, I never played at a super high level, never played at the college level, certainly not at the pro level, but I imagine, dude, I imagine those guys, you just it's almost expected at a certain point, right? When you work your entire life and you're just a genetic freak, you kind of expect that you're going to go far in the world of football, but you don't really expect that you're going to have like a giant turd and then that giant turd isn't, you're not going to need to wipe your butt for it. But yeah, I'm pretty conservative with the toilet paper. I'm one of those people, I'll take 4 or 5 squares off, sometimes as many as 6, take those off real quick, fold it one time just because I don't want a finger ripping through and I accidentally give myself a impromptu prostate exam. I don't I don't want that occurring. So I'll fold it a couple times and then I'll wipe and then I'll fold again and then I'll wipe again, dude. I'm ready for the Great Depression. That's all I'm saying. Everyone's, scared that the economy's going to go into a recession or a depression. Dude, I'm fine with it. I already eat I I can eat mac and cheese forever. I'm not autistic, but I could just eat a nice sloppy bowl of mac and cheese for 3 meals a day for I'd say 6 months probably. And like I said, toilet paper situation, I'm chilling. I was in the Boy Scouts. I know I know what leaves to use and what leaves not to use. So I think I'm pretty like recession proof. I'm pretty depression proof in terms of just the general way that I live my life. I got the PS5 and the TV, and other than that, I'm pretty much set. I don't really need anything else. I know a lot of people like clothes shopping. Like even dudes like clothes shopping. I'm like, I don't really like shopping in general. Sometimes it's fun to shop sometimes for like fishing lures and stuff like that, but I'm not really the biggest shopping guy. I know a lot of people like shopping. I don't like it at all. I'm kind of autistic, so I can like eat the same meal every day. I'm really I'm really efficient when it comes to pooping, and I'm also a let it mellow type of guy. When I pee in the toilet, especially if it's in the middle of the night, it's not necessarily going to be a flush every time. I know that might disgust some people, uh, and it does the opposite to my dog, by the way. Peeing in the toilet and not flushing, it does the opposite of disgust my dog. He can have a pristine bowl of water. You know what I mean? Just a nice cool. It's like in the metal. You can see it like the sun shimmering on it. It looks like it's straight out of the fountain of youth or whatever. But if that man, if that, and I'm gonna call him a man, because I gotta hold him accountable for his actions. So, but when that man detects just a hint of piss in the toilet, he's making a beeline straight for that thing, dude. He's just a freak like that. We might have to send this guy to like Sex Addicts Anonymous or something like that. It's Piss Addicts Anonymous, dude. We might have to send him there. We might have to send him to PA, just so we can have a discussion with the other dogs that just love drinking piss, dude. And you can always smell it on his breath. It could be one of those pisses, where it looks like water's coming out, like straight up Niagara Falls type of stuff, and you can still smell it on this dog's breath. he, he loves drinking it. I don't know. It's a little extra flavor. It's almost like a bone broth or something, right? you know, people will drink like just like a cup of bone broth, just salty, fat, and I don't know. I don't think I have diabetes, but I think people with diabetes, when they pee, like for some reason, like there's sugar in the pee or something like that. So I don't know. He'd probably be having a field day if we lived with a nice type 2 diabetic, just drinking, just drinking his sugar water all day. Dude. He loves it. He's a fiend for it. He's an animal for it. He would lay down his life for it. I don't know if he would lay down his life for me. He does like to bark at people and at, dogs and stuff like that. He's a big fan of it, but he's not like aggressive. He ain't got that dog in him. He's not a pit bull. He's like kind of the opposite end of the spectrum from a pit bull. Like a pit bull will go in and sacrifice its life if it sees like a toddler running, right? Like, and the pit bull people are weird. They completely deny the fact that that animal was bred to rip other animals apart while they're still alive. They'll vehemently deny that fact. I'm not saying you can't have a pit bull around kids, but it's literally designed to rip things apart. Bears and boars, which if you hear boar and you're like, oh, it's just a pig. No, it's not just a pig, all right? These things are like 500 pounds and they have like elephant tusks on them, all right? And that's what pit bulls are designed to go after. But my dog, he's just like on the opposite end of the spectrum from that. Like he'll bark. He'll let you know, but he ain't really doing anything about it, dude. He's not biting anyone. His legs don't really function properly either. He's a bit of a Stephen Hawking. He's a bit of a Christopher Reeves in that way. you know? And it just happened randomly. Just one day, his back legs just stopped working how they should. It's not like he's paralyzed from the waist down, but they're like stiff. I don't know how to describe it, dude. He just has some fucked up back legs, and so he's not getting anyone. He puts on a show, but he's not getting anyone. But I think if someone was getting in the way of his piss, of his piss toilet water, I think, you know, if he was able to understand, hey, this guy, you see this guy right here? If he gets near the toilet, there's gonna be no more piss water for the rest of your life. I think he would lay down his life for that. I think he would sacrifice his own life for Pakistan, for Pissistan, dude. I was grape. I think he would do that though. I think grape, carrot, he would sacrifice his own life for Pakistan. That video is so funny. Every time I think of that video, I cry laughing, dude. Because the whole grape thing, she was clearly trying to say great, but for some reason she said grape. But then she just she says like carrot, and I don't know. Maybe it's like a Pakistani word or something like that. But she just says carrot. That video, and the other hilarious thing about that video is it's like clearly filmed in Pakistan, right? It's only Pakistani people, although it could be England, some places in England, they've got a few people from Lahore there. Um, but it's like clearly filmed in Pakistan. It's like some degenerating building in Pakistan with like just 10,000 Pakistani people, and they're all speaking English. That's like the funniest part about that video is they're all speaking. I don't know why. I don't know why they chose to speak in English, but they are. But that video is very funny. And I don't know if I would sacrifice my own life for Pakistan, dude. I don't know if I would be able to do it. And I don't know why they have so much beef with India either. I don't know why the Pakistanis have so much beef with India. I know like historically there was like I don't know, someone tried to like kill all there was an attempted genocide. There might have been a full-on genocide. I don't really know, but that was kind of in the past. And I just think it's weird that they choose to be beefing with India instead of Afghanistan. Because if you don't know, like during the War on Terror, when America went over to Afghanistan for whatever reason we were there for 20 years, I don't know. But we were there and we were fighting the Taliban, trying to kill them all. And the reason we weren't able to do it is because they all like went into Pakistan, right? Like I think there's a bunch of mountains on the border between India, or not India, between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and I guess they were just all chilling there, and that's why we couldn't kill them all. And it's just, I don't know. I guess Pakistan and Afghanistan are both Muslim countries, and they're also both like Stan countries. So maybe that's why they're so chill with each other. But I'd still think there'd be a little bit of beef there, dude. It's like you just come over here with all your guns and stuff while you're fighting America. I'd be like, no. I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. No, I don't want the most powerful military that's ever existed to get involved in here in any way, shape, or we just got our independence like 50 years ago, dude. Right? That's what I would be thinking if I was in Pakistan and a bunch of Taliban, Afghanistan dudes were coming over. I'd be like, no, dude. Yes, obviously we fuck with what you're doing. Obviously we love blowing yourself up for Allah, dude. But you can't be doing it here, all right? Because we don't want America knocking at our door, dude. We don't want a bunch of 75 IQ Marines just like storming over here, munching on crayons and not having pooped in 8 weeks, just coming over here and really getting active. And that might be why like the U.S. military is so like good and aggressive, is because if you eat those MREs, you can only eat them for a certain amount of days, because I think it's like 30 days, and I think if you eat them for more than 30 days, you like don't poop ever. You like die from not pooping. This is a poop based episode, by the way. This is the current event we're talking about here. We're having a poop epidemic, and I don't think enough people realize it. I think there probably is some kind of poop epidemic going on in America, especially with like the diet of the average American just being the worst food ever. I don't know how people manage to do it. Like cucumbers cost 4 cents. Right? And they taste like nothing. That's the other thing about like cucumbers and really most vegetables. Most vegetables have like a wildly inoffensive taste to them, right? That's why like when you're making chicken noodle soup or whatever, you throw like some carrots or peas or like celery in there because they taste like nothing, and then they add like nutrients and fiber and stuff. But somehow the people in this country manage to never eat a vegetable. It's shocking. And I know, once again, pot calling the kettle black here, but I do eat my vegetables occasionally. I definitely have vegetables every day, but I would say 30% of this country has not touched a vegetable, let alone eat one in 6 months. I would say, that's probably an understatement. I think RFK really needs to look into that. Like he's worried about the wrong shit, dude. He's worried about people like the type of milk people are. No one's drinking milk, RFK. Like he's obsessed with raw milk. It's like, dude, first of all, no one can afford milk. Milk is like $6 a gallon. It's pretty expensive. And they're not drinking it anyway. Like the closest the average American gets to drinking milk is like having an Oreo McFlurry. Like that's as close as they reach into like the Department of Dairy and stuff, or like having a slice of American cheese on their burger. Like that's the closest most Americans get to consuming like milk. So I think he needs to look into the whole vegetable thing. And that's like the funniest thing about like the I guess like the MAGA health movement or like the right wing health movement is that they're all like, you need to eat meat and you need to drink milk and all this stuff, and they completely ignore vegetables. it's it's very funny. It's very funny that I don't know what it is about it. I guess they're just like so. Maybe that's toxic masculinity. I don't like to use that word, but maybe this is an example of that because it's like, no, dude, you need to eat your veggies. If you don't eat your veggies, you're not going to be pooping well. You're either going to be having straight liquid or straight like obsidian solid turds. So eat your veggies, people. 2 messages of today, or I guess 1 message so far, dude. And that one's one you've heard since you were a little kid, and it's eat your veggies. They don't taste like anything. You could put ranch on it too. That's the other thing. If you need to get a little bit of ranch or a little bit of Italian dressing on the veggies to get them down, that's fine. But just get the veggies down so that your intestines don't like fold in onto themselves and explode, right? Because you got to think about like what they're processing all day. The average American diet is so like calorie dense. I don't think the average American eats more than a pound of food in a day, but the food they do eat is like so calorie dense. I feel like that just like fucks up your intestines somehow, right? Just it's like I don't know. It's like drinking gasoline. Like that's how calorie dense the average American meal is. Like a gallon of gasoline has like 10 million fucking calories in it. And I think that's probably pretty close to like the ratio of like the modern American diet, right? Where they eat like a gallon of food and somehow that gallon of food has 18,000 calories in it. Like it's not that much. It's not like an incredibly high volume, but it just has so many fucking calories in it. And that's why you need a vegetable, dude. A vegetable is just like a nice breather for your body. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. It's not about the fiber or like the nutrients in it. It's just like a nice breather. It's just like a nice relaxing thing for it to do. You know, it's like when you're working out. You don't just like lift weights for an hour straight. If you do that, you're not going to be able to grow muscle super well because you're going to be constantly like physically fatigued. You need like a nice rest when you're lifting weights. And that's what your digestive system needs too. Pure guess, by the way. I don't really know, but if I had to guess, I would say your digestive system needs a break from Sour Patch Kids and just a tub of margarine. I think your body needs a break from that. It just needs like a nice cuke or a little bit of broccoli, dude. Who doesn't like broccoli? I love broccoli. I hate cauliflower though. Cauliflower is that might be like the reason that the right wing health movement like rejects vegetables is because they tried to put cauliflower in everything for a minute, dude. Like they tried to put it in pizza crust, like pasta, rice. Like you've ever heard of like cauliflower, riced cauliflower? It's like a rice substitute, but it's cauliflower. And it's like, first of all, cauliflower isn't one of those vegetables that has an inoffensive taste. And it certainly doesn't have an inoffensive smell. I mean, it's straight up garbage. Like it smells like you're eating like a skunk that's been on the side of the road for at least a week. Like that's what eating cauliflower smells like. And they say smell is like, or taste is 90%. I don't know, some bullshit like that. But that's what cauliflower is. It's the most disgusting vegetable. And for some reason, they decided to put it in literally everything. Just every like cauliflower wings. I had cauliflower wings once, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll just die of a heart attack when I'm 40." Like I would rather do that than eat cauliflower wings. They and it had I think it maybe is like some sort of psyop to like distract people from like the good tasting vegetables, right? I think that's what cauliflower was. It was trying to convince people to not eat their veggies by just shoving down the worst veggie, just shoving it down their throat like they're making frog foie. Like if you've ever seen those like PETA videos of frog foie being made, and if you don't know, frog foie is it's like the liver of a goose, but the way they make it, the way they like feed the geese in order to get like the liver super fatty is they shove like this metal tooth or metal tube metal tooth. I don't know. I got teeth on the mind for some reason, dude. I've been thinking about teeth a lot lately. No, they shove this metal tooth down the goose's throat, and anyone that's ever seen a goose before, this is a long metal tube. This thing is like 8 feet long because it's got to get all the way down the goose neck, and it's just filled with like Crisco and like lard and stuff. And they just shove it down the goose's throat, and they just pump it full of as much fat as possible to make its liver like super duper fatty, which I guess makes foie gras. And but I think that's what they were doing with cauliflower with us for a minute. There was just something they were just shoving cauliflower down our throats, dude. Like they were making a smoothie at Jamba Juice. You know when they use that thing in the top of the blender to like get the fruit down in there. I don't know if I've never gotten a smoothie anyway. I don't know if I've ever been in a Jamba Juice before, but I don't know if I've seen one before. um, but that's what they were doing with the cauliflower, dude. Just shoving it down our throats. I think it was a psyop to get people off of veggies because they knew if we were eating our hamburgers, but also having a nice little pile of carrot sticks on the side, they knew we would become too powerful. We would become unstoppable, dude. We'd be the biggest beasts of all time if we just ate our veggies and our meat. If we just had healthy digestive systems. And I've also heard that like your gut health is like directly linked to your mental health, which probably explains a lot, dude. That probably explains like if you've ever heard that statistic before that like 25% of women are like on some sort of psychiatric drug, right? Like SSRIs or SNRIs or barbiturates or whatever the fuck. They count anything as a fucking psychiatric drug, by the way, but I'm not going to talk about that. It's but I think there's a direct correlation between that fact and the fact that most women eat the most unhealthy diet you've ever heard of in your life, dude. Like most women subsist entirely on fast food. And Starbucks is fast food, by the way. It's I don't know how they convince the public that they're a fucking coffee chain. They're fast food. They serve the majority of the thing they serve is fucking milkshakes, right? Like when people go to get Starbucks to get a coffee, they're not getting like a black coffee with two fucking sugars and a little bit of cream in there. They're getting a literal milk. I don't think there's any coffee actually in there. Starbucks should do an experiment like that where they just don't add coffee into like the what are the frappuccinos or whatever. Just don't add coffee in there and see if any of those fucking people notice. I guarantee you they won't. Or even like some of those what are they called, like lattes or whatever that they serve. There's no way you're tasting an ounce of coffee in there. Starbucks should just see if they can get away with not putting coffee in there, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure that'll make like they'll save like a cent on every drink by not adding coffee in there, and they'll make like $10 billion in a year or something like that. So I'm sure Starbucks will be doing that soon enough, but just purely for profit. But yeah, I think back to foie gras. I wanted to talk about foie gras for a second, dude. I've had it on my mind. I was listening to this podcast. I was listening to Son of a Boy Dad, and they were talking about eating foie gras, and I was like, I don't get food like that, right? Like foie gras, fucking what's the Wagyu beef, right? I don't get eating that. You're just eating fat, right? When people are like Kobe beef, Wagyu beef, it's so good, like all the fat in there and stuff. It's like that's not why I eat meat. I don't. Right? If I wanted fat, I'd eat butter or I'd eat like a fucking bagel with like a mountain of cream cheese on it. I'm not going to pay $500 for a steak and have it be majority fat. Like that's insane to me. I don't know why people enjoy that. First of all, it tastes good in very small quantities, right? Like that's why fried food tastes so good is because it has like a ton of fat in it. But it's still I think you could eat like a bucket of KFC and you still wouldn't get the amount of fat that's in like a fucking like a Wagyu New York strip steak, right? There's so much fucking fat in there. It has to be at least 50% fat. And they're like it's so smooth and buttery and it's like so you're describing not meat, right? Like listen to anyone describe the texture of Wagyu or like Kobe beef. They're not describing the texture of meat. They're describing butter. They're like it melts in your mouth, and it's like, dude, that's not what meat is supposed to do, right? You're supposed to chew when you eat meat. It's not supposed to melt in your mouth and like dissolve like fucking cotton candy or whatever. You're supposed to chew on it when you eat it, right? Like that's the way meat is supposed to work. I don't understand it at all. And they pay in these foods, right? Like foie gras and wagyu, they pay an inordinate amount of money for it, right? Like the amount of money someone will pay for like a foie gras liver or a fucking like a wagyu, I don't know cuts of meat. A wagyu T-bone? Is that a thing? Is T-bone an actual cut of steak? Or is that just something from like Looney Tunes cartoons? I have no fucking idea, but whatever. They'll pay like $500 for it. And it's like, dude, that's food for like 6 months. You know that, right? You could very easily subsist on like a pretty decent diet for 6 months with the amount of money you spent on fucking a piece of meat that isn't a piece of meat, right? It's fundamentally not meat. It's more fat than it is meat. And you're like, it tastes so good. It tastes like butter. And it's like, okay, then fucking eat butter. I don't know what to tell you. It's it's insane. It once again, I think that's another food psyop. I think a lot of people talk about like propaganda psyops or like political psyops or whatever. We got to talk about the food psyops more because it's just insane. Like these people that are like, I need to drink raw milk. It's like, dude, you're like 300 pounds. You don't need to be drinking raw milk. Like the enzymes that are in milk should be the least of your concerns when it comes to your diet. Like for the vast majority of people in this country, we're like raw milk is one of those issues that I feel like it like pervaded the news so much. Like it was just everyone was talking about it for a minute. And it's like that's like a 1% problem, right? Like the it's just insane. And I'm not saying raw milk is bad for you. If you want to drink raw milk and fucking have diarrhea for 3 months straight, if you want to basically become Indian, then that's fine by me. But like, you should legally be allowed to do that. But it's not a major problem that exists in this country, right? The 50% of people in this country that are obese aren't obese because of the enzymes in the fucking milk that they're drinking, right? That's not it's not the problem. It's not an issue at all. And that was like another problem like that RFK was like, this is a major problem. We need to make sure that the milk is unpasteurized. And it's like, dude, people are melting into their couches right now. People are literally becoming one with their furniture, dude. It's that fucking scene in Seven where he walks in and the dude is like melted into the fucking couch. That's that's happening. That happens 80 times a day in this country. And that's probably an underestimate, right? It's a major issue in this country. People fusing with their duvet covers is a major issue in this country. And RFK is over here like, we need to drink raw milk. And the fucking beef tallow thing, too. It's ridiculous, dude. It's like fries are never going to be healthy, right? Fries, they fundamentally can't be healthy. It's a starch, right? It's a carbohydrate. And then you're putting it in fat. Those aren't it's not a healthy thing. It's not you're never gonna fucking eat a carton of fries at McDonald's and feel better about yourself. It doesn't matter what they're fucking frying the fries in. It doesn't matter at all. Right? It's a complete non-issue. They're never gonna be healthy for you. You're never gonna feel good after eating them. It's crazy to me that like that was like an actual thing that people were talking about. And same with the whole like Trump just announced that Coca-Cola is going to switch from using high fructose corn syrup to cane sugar for their drinks. And it's like, dude, it's all unhealthy. And the craziest thing about it is high fructose corn syrup is 55% fructose and 45% glucose. And then cane sugar is 55% glucose and 45% fructose. It's the exact same thing. Like it's the exact same fucking thing. It's just and it's all sugar. It's all sugar. It's all fucking horrible for you. These people that have this idea that if you drink a fucking like a lemonade and it has cane sugar in it, that magically makes it good for you or even better for you. It doesn't. It's not better for you. It's still a pound of sugar in a fucking can of Coke, whether it's fructose or glucose. It's all the same. It's still gonna fucking rot your body from the inside out. It's still gonna destroy all your hormones, your fucking organs. It's going to make your body shut down, whether it's glucose or fructose. That's not the issue. The issue isn't what type of sugar it is. It's the fact that it's sugar. These people, it's very funny. And once again, that's probably a non-issue. It's probably a thing that the vast majority of people don't care about. But the fact that anyone is talking about it is absurd. The fact that I'm talking about it right now is insane. These aren't healthy. These aren't the reasons that that country is unhealthy. I don't know what the reasons are, but it's not that. It's not it's not what fries are fried in. The fries are going to be unhealthy whether you use fucking canola oil or fucking beef fat. It's always going to be unhealthy for you. It's And there are people that are legitimately convinced that that's not true. There are people that have convinced themselves that somehow the type of fat makes a difference as to the longevity of their lives. Look, I'm sure it's not, I'm sure seed oils are fucking insanely unhealthy for you. But I don't think beef fat is that much better. I think it's like slightly better in some ways. But it's not going to magically fix all your problems that fucking the fries are now made with beef fat instead of fucking canola oil. But I do think they're right about one thing, with the whole seed oil thing and the whole high fructose corn syrup thing. And the thing they're right about in that department is that this country has an insane dependency on corn. It's crazy how much corn is consumed in America. And I'm talking about literal corn. I know people, the fucking TikTok addicts out there will think I'm talking about porn. No, I'm talking about corn here, like actual, the stuff that comes on a cob and you munch it. Walk down an aisle in any food store in America and look at the ingredients, everything has corn in it, dude. It's like you look at like the back of a package of ground beef and it's like 90% corn filler. That's not true. I'm iterating my point that it's all corn. Everything is corn. A everything has corn or a corn derivative in it. And if you've ever seen the fucking Interstellar, dude, the corn's gonna go away at some point. All right, we got to stop eating so much corn. Everything is corn. Literally, walk down an aisle. The seasonings have corn in it. Everything has fucking corn in it. It's like a can of tuna, and it has corn in it, dude. Everything has corn. It's that is a major issue that exists in this country. And as a person from the Midwest, it hurts me to say that, dude, because the economy, the culture, everything about the Midwest is pretty much predicated on the existence of corn. But we got way too much of it, dude. We got to chill out with the corn a little bit. you know. But Interstellar, I talked about it for a second there. It's that movie to me. It's one of those movies where it's like it's an okay movie. And I think a lot of okay movies, there's like two categories that they can fit in, right? Where it's like the whole movie is just kind of okay, right? Like it's just kind of mid. You're just like, it's all right. But then there's other movies where it's like they're part of it is like perfect, right? Part of the movie is like this is a fucking amazing movie, but the other part of it is just what the fuck is going on here? And I don't know. When I watch Interstellar, I kind of feel like that sometimes, right? Like the beginning of Interstellar is the main thing preventing me from watching it over and over. I hate the beginning of Interstellar. I get it. It's like setting up the whole story and all that stuff, like why they're going to space and like the fucking, interconnected time loop or whatever. But it's just the beginning is just it's so fucking boring, and I hate Timothy Chalamet. I hate him so good. I know he's only in the movie for like 10 seconds, but I hate him so much. And Matthew McConaughey, yeah, I have nothing to say about Matthew McConaughey's performance in that. It's really good. But the beginning of that movie, just to me, it's so boring and it's so awful. And it's like, usually the first part of a movie is like setting up like the world and like the world building and all that stuff. But all that shit doesn't really happen until like, I don't know. I don't really remember, but it happens like 30 minutes in or something like that. Like literally the first 30 minutes of Interstellar is him talking about robots and corn and like the moon. Right? That's the first 30 minutes of Interstellar. And it's boring as shit. I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck about this dude's relationship with his kids. I don't really care that much. He's going to fucking space. He clearly doesn't care that much about his kids if he's fucking abandoning them to go to space, right? And people are like, no, that actually proves how much he cares about his kids because he's willing to sacrifice himself for their future. It's a fucking movie, dude. It's not that deep, all right? He's going to space, dude. It's a movie about space. Why are we spending the first 30 minutes talking about corn? I get it, dude. I get that's why we have to go to space. But that should be a footnote, It's like Michael Caine is the one that asks Matthew McConaughey to go to space, right? That should be like one line out of Matthew McConaughey's mouth is the thing about corn, right? It should be like one line where where Michael Caine is like, and we need to go to space for corn. That was JFK, but was it a Brit? Michael Caine, we need to go to space for the corn. That was a little closer. Wasn't that close at all, but slightly. It wasn't JFK, all right? That's that's the important, improvement in that impression, is that it's no longer John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Okay. I went from JFK to maybe that's Michael Caine. But hey, that's a fucking improvement, all right? You got to take the improvement where you can. But just why are we talking about corn so good? I feel like that when I watch movies sometimes. Like Oppenheimer. I went and saw Oppenheimer in the theaters around the time it came out. When did it come? Fuck. I'm trying to remember. I watched it sometime in the summer. I think around when it came out because the theater was fucking packed. Dude, and we went to see that shit at like 10 p.m. We didn't get out of the theater until 5 and the sun was rising, dude. Mexicans were going to work when we got out of the fucking theater watching Oppenheimer. And the reason for that is the last hour of the movie is so stupid. It's all about like Oppenheimer and like the trial and all. It's like I don't care about that. The movie's about the fucking nuclear bomb. I don't care about like the trial that happened after the nuclear bomb. It doesn't. I don't care at all. It's just like him getting interviewed and people being like, "Did you bring your kids to the nuclear test site or what?" I don't give a shit about the end of the movie. The end of that movie kind of ruined it for me. It's like the main one once again main reason why I don't watch Oppenheimer more than I do. I've only seen it once, and that's because the last hour of that movie is so awful. It's just them in court talking, and I don't know. Maybe they threw that in there for like the chicks that were dragged to that movie. Maybe that's why they threw that like fucking courtroom drama in there. But I just watched that, and it's so fucking convoluted. They keep jumping back between like him getting interviewed personally and then in the court and then him getting interviewed personally. And it's so insane. Once again, that could be a footnote. That thing could have been 10 minutes and the movie would have been perfect, right? And I don't know. I just feel like that's a thing, that's a big problem I have with movies, right? Like I was watching, what was it? Mission Impossible 5 last night. Or not Mission Impossible 5. It was Mission Impossible 7. I was watching that last night, or whatever the second most recent one is. And that movie is 157 fucking minutes long. No. No. It doesn't need to be 2.5 hours long. Right, like the Avatar movies. I can kind of get why those are 2.5 hours long. There's a very big story that they have to tell in there. There's a lot of storylines that have to come together and be like wrapped up and all that stuff. I can understand why those movies are like 2.5, 3 hours long. I can get that. Mission Impossible should be 90 minutes long, and it should just be Tom Cruise fucking, jumping out of a helicopter that's like on fire over the Pacific Ocean while a great white shark pops out of the water to fucking, try to rip his leg off. It should be that and hot chicks and like a few funny quips in between it. It's the fact that movie is 2.5 hours long is a travesty. It shows the downfall of cinema in this country. That movie could be 45 seconds and it would be just as good. Like literally, any of the Mission Impossible movies could be a minute. It could be a fucking clip on TikTok where Subway Surfers is playing in the background, and it would be just as good. It would be just as entertaining. I don't know why that movie is 2.5 hours long, and also the whatever it is. I think it's the seventh movie. It's the first part in a two-part movie, and the second part is the newest one that came out. And I don't know how long the newest one is. I'll look it up real quick, but it's like it's probably another 2.5 hours. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Yeah, I watched Dead Reckoning last night. Yeah, it's 2 hours and 49 minutes long. So this is a 6-hour saga. It's Star Wars isn't that long. Star Wars, the genre defining film. It changed everything in like Hollywood and all that shit. The first three Star Wars movies are like 5 hours long total. And then two Mission Impossible movies are 6 hours long. That's insane. It's it's literally Tom Cruise looking for two keys. That's what the last two movies are about. It's him looking, or I don't know, I fell asleep in the middle of it because it's 2.5 hours long. It's him looking for two keys to shut down an AI. It's insane. I don't know. I don't know how they pushed it that long. It's and that's the miracle of it. Like that's the miracle of like the Mission Impossible and some of these other movies is how they're able to stretch it for that long. It's if I had to write a 2.5 hour long movie, 90% of it would be complete silence. Right? Like it is a miracle. There's no way they didn't use AI for that either. There's no way they found a way to make Tom Cruise looking for two keys last for 6 hours. There's no way they did that just completely organically. They 100% for a fact used AI for that. And I'm fine with that. A lot of people they think that AI is going to like ruin movies and TV shows and stuff. They've already been ruined. The TV shows and the movies, for the most part, really aren't that fucking good anymore. And so it's like it's not going to ruin them. And in the case of Mission Impossible, it's kind of exactly what they're looking for. They're just looking for pure nonsense slop, right? And I think like the studios need to accept that fact. I think that the writers need to accept that fact. Like with the Marvel movies and all that shit. The fact that they still have people writing that is insane. It's garbage. It's always been garbage. Like some of the original ones, like some of the original Iron Man movies, like that's like an actual movie, right? It's like an actual story with like character growth and like interconnected storylines and all that fucking bullshit. Like those are actual movies. But like the new Marvel stuff that's coming out, it should be written by AI. It not only can be written by AI, but it should. Because it's just garbage nonsense. And that's what AI produces. AI just produces garbage nonsense. And so that's what they should have making these movies. Because when you try to have a person, like these people that write these movies probably are so fucking uppity about themselves. They're like, and we're writing Marvel movies. We're writing what's the new one called that everyone was mad at? Ironheart or whatever. I'm writing Ironheart. It's going to be a really good movie and it's going to define the genre for generations to come. And AI doesn't have that. And AI is just like, you want a bunch of garbage? Here you go. And they throw the garbage on the fucking plate. And all the American fucking neckbeards with their low testosterone come up and just eat the fucking Marvel garbage. That's what it should be, dude. And yeah. And I just don't like Marvel shit as a whole. Right? Like, I get it. I get it's woke nonsense or whatever. But it's like, it's all garbage, right? It's just a different type. It's just the type of garbage that you don't like. I've seen a few of the new ones. I saw the new Black Widow, and that's it. I didn't see any of the other new ones, but the new Black Widow was garbage, and it wasn't garbage because it was woke or whatever. It was garbage because that's the nature of Marvel movies. It was garbage because those. The new Guardians of the Galaxy was all right, but that's just because James Gunn is like a genius pedophile. So that was an exception because they had a dude that was into weird sex shit making it. But other than that, they're all horrible. They're all garbage. It's just a different type of garbage, right? It's just a type of garbage where they, I don't know, are promoting transgenders or whatever the fuck people are mad at. It's all garbage. But we do need to get like the weird sex pests back in Hollywood. Like Harvey Weinstein movies. I get it, dude. I get that he probably like raped like 70 women, dude. But the movies aren't that bad, dude. Compared to a lot of the other movies that are made, it's like we need Harvey Weinstein back in there. Just throw the fucking sheep to the wolves. All right, just throw him Bonnie Blue. Right, we have the whores. We have the whores capable to satisfy Harvey Weinstein's needs. We have these soulless fucking OnlyFans animals, and they are animals to satisfy the animal sexual desire of Harvey Weinstein. He's an animal. Feed him the other animals, dude. Bonnie Blue and I don't know any of the other ones' names. I don't really know too much about her. Every time I see her on my page, I just scroll up. I'm like, this is a fucking psyop. It screams psyop. That's the most heavy fucking psyop I've ever seen. Like people getting mad at it or people having any general opinion when it comes to Bonnie Blue is insane. It's clearly a psyop. It's clearly just like the government or whatever entity is trying to distract people from like actual things that exist in the world because it's not an actual thing. It's like, oh, a whore is being a whore. Who would have thunk? How'd you fucking figure that one out? It's like, yeah, whores are gonna be whores. Everyone getting mad at that. It's like, can you believe this? And people defending it too. It's like, no, it's just a soulless whore being a soulless whore and making caboodles of money off of it. All right, it just is what it It just is what it is, dude. It's just a whore being a whore. You just gotta leave it alone, man. You know, it's like when I see that, I have the same reaction as that I do to like Skid Row or whatever, where people are like, we need to clean it up. We need to go in there and help these people. Or just like end it in general, right? There's differing opinions on how to do it. Like some people, which is the most insane option, and it's like the left wing option of how to clean up like Skid Row and Kensington Avenue is like give them more drugs. Like that's seriously what they do. Like look at these nonprofits in like Los Angeles, and I just saw a video. It was who was it? I think it was Brandon Buckingham in Vancouver. And Vancouver has like their own Skid Row, Kensington Avenue type of thing, where it's just drug addicts for like miles and miles and miles. And he focused on like this one specific charity that was like going in there and like giving the people more drugs. It's just so funny to me. And they call themselves like harm reductionists. It's you're not reducing you're making greater harm by doing that. By allowing these people to continue to doing what they're continue to do what they're doing. I don't fucking know, dude. I'm not a grammar guy, all right? But I'm not a grammar Nazi, but I am a regular Nazi. There we go. Got it. That's also political satire, by the way, dude. I'm not an actual Nazi, political satire. But by like giving these people just more and more, you're not stopping the problem. You're not doing anything to help the problem in any way, shape, or form. These people are just like more hyped now that they're getting free drugs. And also, some people might make the argument of like, oh, well, if they're getting free drugs, that means they're not going to be committing as many crimes. Dude, they're just going to keep committing the crimes because so that they can get more drugs, right? These people love drugs. It's like it's their whole passion in life. It's all they fucking care about. All they care about is drugs. I would literally trust a murderer before I trust like a fucking fentanyl addict. Because at least the murderer might have like some ulterior motive or some shit, and he can like I don't know exist normally. Drug addicts can't do that. They literally only care and think about one thing, and that's drugs. So it's like you can give the people free drugs, but that's not going to stop them from committing crimes to get more drugs because that's the nature of addiction. The nature of addiction is always more, more, more. They always want more, no matter what whatever you're addicted to, whether it's, I know some people are like shopping addicts or whatever, but I'm talking about a real addiction here, not some fucking pussy ass bullshit, like an actual fucking physical addiction. Like if they stop doing it, they're going to die. People that are that addicted to something, they're never going to be satisfied with it, right? Like that's why every person who does fentanyl, like no fentanyl addict does fentanyl for like their entire life and live to the age of 80 and just like die of a heart attack or whatever. No, they all overdose, right? And that's because of the nature of addiction. The nature of addiction is always just we need more, we want more, we just need more fucking drugs. And so you can give them the free drugs, but that's not going to stop them from going out and committing crimes to get more drugs because that's all they care about. All they care about is getting more drugs. But whatever, dude. You know? And I think it should be treated the same as the Bonnie Blue situation. Just like stop paying attention. Just let them all, just sterilize them all. You know, rip out all their balls and their uteruses or whatever. Round them all up in a big fucking pig pen. And by the way, I've castrated animals before. It's really fucking easy. All right. You just put a rubber band over their balls and the balls fall off. Just do that to all the dudes and then build like a little fucking pit somewhere. Just dig like a gigantic hole, right? Like a crater in the ground and just throw them all in there and just let them die off. All right. I think that's what we should do. And that's how you should treat, you know, these OnlyFans whores. You know, stop giving into it. Stop paying attention to it. Stop being like, oh, we need to stop this. We need to do something. Because that's exactly what they want. It's precisely what they want. They just want people to, like, pay attention to them and stuff like that. So just do that, but, like, mentally. Just mentally throw Bonnie Blue into a fucking crater somewhere and be like, all right, done with that. Don't give a fuck. And just do that no matter the situation. When it comes to people like that, just throw them in a fucking pit somewhere. Just that is my solution to most problems. Is just throw it in a pit somewhere. If it crawls out of that pit, good. I don't know. If it crawls out of the pit, then it doesn't deserve to be in the pit. All right, just throw it in the fucking pit. Build a little barbed wire fucking barricade around it, and just let it stay there. All right, that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do with these fucking addicts. It's what we need to do with these fucking OnlyFans whores. Just throw them in a fucking pit somewhere. That is my solution. If I was in Trump's cabinet and he's like, we need to get rid of the migrants, I'd be like, you ever heard of a pit? You ever heard of a giant pit in the middle of the desert, Mr. Trump? How about we do that? How about we just throw them all in a pit? And to be fair, that is like the solution to most problems, is just throwing it in a pit, right? With the issue of migration, like the equivalent of that is him like deporting them to like El Salvador and like South Sudan and stuff like that. Like those countries are proverbial pits. It's just you can never escape El Salvador. You can never escape South Sudan. You're just in there and you're in like entrenched poverty and violence. I get it. El Salvador has kind of like turned their act around, but still, it's a fucking country in Central America. How good can it be? Just throw them in the pit, dude. Just South Sudan is the new pit. Anyone get caught hopping over the border, just throw them in the fucking pit real quick. that, that should be the solution to all our problems. And like mental health is the same thing. It's we just throw people in pits, right? With mental health, the pit in that situation is like SSRIs and psychiatric drugs, right? Whether it's an SSRI, like I think Klonopin's an SSRI or Prozac or fucking whatever. That's a pit. That's like an emotional, spiritual pit. So I'm just suggesting that instead of using a proverbial pit, we use a physical pit, right? Like all these depressed people and stuff like that. Just throw them in a pit somewhere. And the Arabs, they already figured that out. There's like an old Arabian proverb where it's like if you want to kill yourself, throw yourself in the ocean and see how bad you want to die. I say that's what we do with like these people that are like depressed or whatever. Just throw them in a fucking pit somewhere and be like, yeah, you want to die? Go starve to death in the pit. That should be the option. Like when you go to your therapist and you're like, I've been thinking about killing myself lately. A fucking SWAT team should descend on you and fucking like hog tie you and take you out to a pit somewhere and throw you in there and just be like, yeah, you want to die now? I guarantee you won't want to die anymore. So, yeah, it's just the pit is the answer. I think that's going to be the title of this episode. The pit is the answer, and I don't know. And smelling salts maybe because that's one of the articles we're going to read about today. We're talking about smelling salts and we're talking about Trump a little bit. I'm just trying not to talk about Israel because Israel's going in the pit, dude. Israel has been fucking designated to the pit. Done with it. Not paying attention to it anymore. They're gonna despite the fact that the entire world has watched them commit a genocide really since 1948. A lot of people think it just started. They've been doing it since 1948. The fact that it's been going on for close to 80 years now and nothing has happened, that means you're getting relegated to the pit. All right? Pit for you, Israel. You're going to the pit. Palestine, I don't really think about Palestine too much, but they're going in the pit too, dude. Just throw it in the pit. I think that'll be the title of this episode. Just throw it in the fucking pit. Or maybe just the pit. I feel like throw it in the pit, you're giving away too much. It's like when you watch a trailer for a movie and the trailer has like all the important scenes in the movie. So, yeah, I think we're just going to keep it the pit, nice and mysterious and tantalizing. It's like it's a sexy siren on the fucking coast of the beach, just calling you in, being like, what's the pit? What's going on in the pit? Who are we putting in the pit? Is the pit real? Are we talking about a real pit? Are we talking about the center of a peach? What's the pit? The pit, the pit's just where you put things you don't like. Whatever it is, and look, you can have a literal pit too, by the way. If you have like a backyard or whatever, if your house is getting cluttered, dig a pit real quick and just start throwing stuff in there. And the thing about stuff too is you can light it on fire. When the pit gets full and you're like, fuck, I gotta dig a new pit. You don't need to dig a new pit. Just cover it in diesel and gasoline and lighter fluid. Throw a match in there. Have a nice little bonfire. Just the pit. The pit is the solution. The pit is the answer to every single issue that ails us. I almost said ailments us. So that's how smart I am. But I did come up with the pit, all right? I did come up with the pit. But, hey, we got to talk about Trump, man. It is what it is. Trump is probably going to get relegated to the pit pretty soon. Trump almost got thrown in the pit when the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing was going on, but he's not in the pit quite yet. He's close. He's teetering on the edge of the pit, dude. He's like a toddler. He's like an unaccompanied toddler on like the edge of the Grand Canyon. Just he's teetering on the edge of the pit, dude. Trump might be in the pit pretty soon, but this isn't about Trump directly or like him as a person. I do think that's something that I avoid. It's like talking about like Trump's like personal issues, like the fact that he cheated on his wife or whatever. It's like, yeah, he's a billionaire and he's like one of the most powerful people in the country, or at least one of the people that they say is the most powerful people in the country, right? It's like, yeah, of course he cheated on his wife. We should be thanking Christ that that's the only fucking thing that came out about Trump in terms to like weird sexual shit, right? Is that he cheated on his wife with a porn star. We should literally be thanking God. Like if that's it, you should be jumping with joy, right? Like a dude cheating on his wife, or like specifically like a politician or a celebrity or like a well-known figure, if you're like, hey man, I got something to tell you about Donald Trump, he cheated on his wife, like I would be if I was like a Donald Trump fan, I would be celebrating after hearing about that. I'd be like, he just cheated on his wife with like a woman of a legal age. I would be very happy to hear that. But I think there were some women of a not legal age somewhere in there, and maybe that's why we're not getting the files that we want. But this is about Donnie T and his tariffs. So Trump's broad tariffs go into effect just as U.S. economic pain is surfacing. And this is, I think the title of this article is so funny because it's, oh yeah, the economic pain that America is going through, yeah, it's just coming to fruition. It hasn't been happening for the past 5 years. Right? It hasn't been happening for the past coming on 2 decades now, right? None of that. No, that wasn't economic pain. This is real economic pain. The fact that the American dream completely dissolved in a matter of a decade, that's not economic pain. This is economic pain, and it's just now surfacing. It's a very funny title. That the fact that some people legitimately have convinced themselves that Donald Trump implementing tariffs, that's what's causing an economic issue in this country. Nothing else. It's just the tariffs. It's very funny to me, but let's read about this. So, Washington AP, and this is from AP News, which I'm just going to assume is a lib source. So, President Donald Trump began imposing higher import taxes on dozens of countries Thursday, just as the economic fallout of his months long tariff threats have begun to cause visible damage to the U.S. economy. Just after midnight, goods from more than 60 countries and the European Union became subject to tariff rates of 10% or higher. Products from the EU, Japan, and South Korea are taxed at 15%, while imports from Taiwan, Vietnam, Bangladesh are taxed at 20%. Damn, dude. See, the thing about the tariffs is I'm fine with the tariffs. I don't really give a shit. Like the inflation and the corporate greed that exists in this country, everything's going to become more expensive anyway. So it's like I don't know. The tariffs don't bother me that much. But the fact that we're doing Japan and South Korea that dirty, more specifically South Korea, like Europe, yeah, I don't give a shit. Taiwan, Vietnam, Bangladesh, I don't care. I don't care at all. But like we're doing sorry. We're doing South Korea and Japan that dirty. First of all, Japan. We dropped portable suns on Japan. Literally 2 portable suns. The most powerful weapons ever used in war were both used on Japan. And they're just completely chill about it. Like I've never heard a Japanese person like bring that up. Like on TikTok, or like you scroll on TikTok, inevitably you're going to come across a video of like some Mexican person complaining about how much the US has fucked them over. When in reality, yeah, it fucked them over a little bit, with the war on drugs and all that stuff, but we did fuck them over in that department, and also funding a lot of the cartels in Central and South America. We did fuck them over there, but we didn't fuck them over as badly as we did Japan. Like we literally attempted to wipe the Japanese country, culture, and like ethnic group off the map. Like we seriously tried to do that, and Japan is just like completely chill with it. And now for Donnie T to like go around and like hit him with this, dude, it's like come on, Donnie, what are we doing here, dude? And also, yeah, Japan's just chill like that. I don't know why we did them dirty. And South Korea too. South Korea's been completely chill with us. Like, and we didn't really do South Korea that dirty. Like South Korea's chill with us because we prevented them from living under a communist totalitarian dictatorship, so that's why they're chill with us. But it's like they're still very chill with us. Like our other allies aren't that like there's a never-ending stream of people from like Britain and France and like just Europe in general talking shit about the United States. First of all, your continent would not exist if it weren't for us. So how about you pipe the fuck down? All right, European people, how about you shut up, right? Because either way, whatever the result of World War II was, whether the Nazis won or the USSR won, there would be no one there. So how about you shut the fuck up and show a little bit of fucking gratefulness, right? Like Japan, who really doesn't need to be showing grateful. Like if any country was mad at us, like I would accept it being Japan. Like I would accept the fact that Japan is mad at us. Whether you think the dropping of the nuclear bombs was warranted or not, that is a that's a dick move. I would be mad about that. I would be very upset about that. And so if Japan was mad at us, okay, I could understand that. But like France, you're mad at us? You're mad at us, France. Okay, yeah, we just saved you guys. We literally, you guys, first of all, the French government, when the Nazis invaded, if you don't know, immediately gave up. It's why they have that like stereotype of surrendering, is because they immediately quit. They did not try to fight back at all. They immediately gave up and allowed the Nazi forces to physically occupy some parts of France and set up a government, or a puppet government in other parts of France. So how about you pipe down a little bit? And the British, I'm just done with you guys. All right, the British, I'm just done with them. They're the most insane people on earth. They don't know how to do anything right. And Canadians, you're on that list too. The Canadians are on the same boat as Britain, where they talk so much shit about America. They're like, oh, America this, America that. You guys don't do anything right. Like, they're like, oh, we have free healthcare. And it's like, yeah, but no one gets it, right? I've said this before. Yeah, Canada and the UK have free healthcare, but no one gets it. Literally every, like, healthcare story coming out of, like, the UK is you have to wait 18 months to see a doctor. And every healthcare story coming out of Canada is every single patient that comes in with an issue is recommended suicide, right? Like that's say what you want about the American healthcare system, but like if you have money, it works. And even if you don't have money, you can kind of get away with a few things and just live in medical debt for the rest of your life, right? Like their whole thing is like, oh well, Americans, when you go to the doctor with an issue, you have to have $100,000 in medical debt, and it's like, yeah, dude, I'd be fine with having $100,000 in medical debt if it meant I was still alive, right? Like that's the thing about the United States healthcare system is it's barely functioning, but it works so much better than the UK and Canada's. And so I'm fine with the tariffs being on them, but it's like, dude, why are we doing our boys so dirty? Why are we doing Japan and South Korea so dirty, man? Those are our dogs. Those are our dogs, and we're just fucking them over. I don't like that. But, and, okay, this is the article continued. Trump also expects the EU, Japan, and South Korea to invest hundreds of billions of dollars in the United States. Oh, you mean like how we did for them? Like, they're saying this like the US didn't invest literal trillions of dollars into the EU, Japan, and South Korea. Like, we have. Look up the Marshall Plan. How much was the Marshall Plan? I'll Google that real quick. But if you don't know, the Marshall Plan was the US's plan to rebuild Europe after World War II. And it's, I think, adjusted for inflation, it says it's only $12 billion. I guess maybe the Marshall Plan on its own was, so it's $135 billion in today's money, but it altogether, it was probably close to $1 trillion with all the military bases that we built there. And the fact that they don't like the bases having there is like, okay, dude, we'll take all the bases out of Europe and then you'll get invaded immediately by Russia or any country with an iota of power. That's a very annoying thing. But with like all the shit we did over there, yeah, you're going to invest a few $100 billion into us, all right? And I know you can. I know the governments of these countries can because they all tax their people like 90%. So, especially like the EU. I don't know about Japan and South Korea as much, but the EU, you guys, all the citizens there have like a 70% tax on it. You could be making like $5K a year and they'd be taxing 70% of it. So, we know you have the money. So, how about you pipe the fuck down? I'm sick and tired of these people. Trump's trade wars. Volley after volley of new tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump have plunged the country into trade wars abroad, creating uncertainty for businesses and households. The thing about that is China is really the only formidable enemy of America in every way, shape, or form. It's the only formidable military enemy of America. It's the only formidable economic enemy of America. Like, people talk about Russia. Russia is they can't take a state in Ukraine. Like it would literally be like if they couldn't take like Rhode Island or something like that. Russia is not in any way, shape, or form a threat to America. China, okay, they are a threat to America economically and maybe in some ways militarily, although I don't really fucking believe that. But economically, in terms of like their propagandal prop I don't know if that's a word. I'm gonna pretend it is to sound smart, but like their propagandal influence on the U.S., like the way that they can like, uh, I'm trying to think of the right words. The way that they can like influence and like shift society and stuff like that, that is a threat to America. And economically, they are a decent threat to America as well. And so it's like, but we've been in a trade war with China for a while now. So this is nothing new. Trump isn't starting anything new with a trade war. And these other countries, yeah, I'm sure it's not great for the economy of the United States of America, but all these countries are going to give way to us eventually, right? Like they all depend on us for our money, for the things we sell them, for everything. All these countries depend on America. I'm sick and tired of people pretending that they don't. The entire world depends on America, and it's true. But that doesn't mean I support Donald Trump, and I don't think these tariffs are really going to do anything either. It's nothing is going to become cheaper because of tariffs. Maybe we might get a few more manufacturing jobs back in America. I heard that Apple is building a plant in Texas, so I don't know. I I'm sure they're not going to bring that up in this article. And once again, I'm not like a Donald Trump guy. I don't. You're never. I'm not really ever going to defend Donald Trump. I don't. I think he's just a moron, and I don't really think the president has that much power anyway. But just to act like this is like a completely unprecedented thing, and that the idea that like Colombia is an economic threat to America, it's ridiculous. It's insane to pretend that that's true. None of these countries, all the countries of the world combined, excluding China, are not a threat to America in any way, shape, or form. It's we're the most powerful. Do the people of this country live as good as some of the people in those other countries? No, but that doesn't really matter when you have fucking 11 like nuclear powered aircraft carriers. And those are just the super carriers. So it's just funny to me that people act like anything is a threat to America besides ourselves. China, maybe China's a threat, but not really. So back to the article though. I think the growth is going to be unprecedented, Trump said Wednesday. He said the U.S. was taking hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs, but did not provide a specific figure for revenues because we don't even know what the See, this is why you can never defend Trump on it. And I wasn't defending him. I was just saying it's stupid to pretend like any other country is a threat to America in any way, shape, or form. Because he goes, we don't even know what the final number is. Figure it out, dude. That would be that would be like the number one thing I would be worried about. I get that, the whole tariff initiative is like a multifaceted thing where it's like it's about getting manufacturing back to America and like also um collecting money from these countries that collect a bunch of money from us with tariffs, right? Like all these countries also have tariffs on the United States. Like I don't think people realize that. All these countries have tariffs on the United States. And so but just be like, yeah, we don't know what the final number is. It's like, dude, figure it out. All the money's going to you. And this is also probably the majority of the money coming from tariffs is going to be like embezzled, and it's going to go into like these politicians' wallets or whatever. But yeah, is what it is. Despite the uncertainty, the White House is confident that the onset of his tariffs will provide clarity about the path for the world's largest economy. Now that companies understand the direction the U.S. is headed, the Republican administration believes it can ramp up new investments and jumpstart hiring in ways that can rebalance America as a manufacturing power. So far, there are signs of self inflicted wounds to the U.S. as companies and consumers brace for the impact of the new taxes. Okay, the companies aren't bracing. The consumers are bracing, the citizens of this country are bracing because we're going to be the ones who foot the bill. You think the CEO of fucking, I don't know, I was trying to Walmart or whatever, you think that guy's going to be footing the bill for the tariffs? No, he's not. He's just going to make the prices higher in the store. And then we're going to have to pay for it. So no, the companies aren't bracing. Oh shit. The studio's collapsing around me. Fuck, I might have to stop and restart. Yep. All right. I'm being crushed to death. It's 127 hours later. All right. I literally just went full James Franco. I have this mattress up to like soften the sound and like dampen the sound and not make my family listen to my screaming. And it just like collapsed on me. I was full on Frank Ed, dude. But yeah, everything I said is true, and I'm always right about everything. That's just the general message to take away from the last, I don't know, whatever it was, 15 minutes I was talking. But yeah, I don't know. I think manufacturing coming back to the United States is a good thing overall, and I think that's a thing that like most people don't want to accept, right? Because most people want to work in like a nice office job or whatever, but it's like, dude, a country that doesn't like produce anything physically, you really can't be that powerful, right? Like China, the main reason we haven't invaded China and like steamrolled them yet is because they're just such like a major manufacturing power. Like they have the type of manufacturing power the United States had in World War II. Probably not nearly as close, but like they have infinitely more manufacturing power than us. Like they could do what the US did in World War II if we tried to invade them, right? Like I'm trying to try to remember the phrase they say about World War II, but it was like I think it was like that the Soviets beat the Germans with American steel. I think it's something along that line or along those lines because the America just produced so much steel and so much like so many weapons like tanks and planes and whatever else they use in war. I don't really know. I'm not too familiar with it, but whatever else they use. Guns maybe? I don't know if they still use the swords. America produced all the swords used in World War II, but we do need to get some manufacturing back here into America and just jobs as a whole, dude. People will take anything at this point. I think that's why so many people aren't like full on spurging about the tariffs as they normally would be because it's like, dude, any job in this country at this point is like that's going to be a benefit to society. If Trump can get one job in this country, he will go down as the best president of the 21st century. And now our second article. This one is from NPR, and this one's a little. Oh my fucking god. Okay, so this is from I guess NPR. Yeah, okay, yeah, this is just from NPR as a whole. I thought it was maybe just from like the NPR or the Chicago station of NPR, but this is so funny. So the medical. So this is the health news from NPR, and like the name of that little subdivision of the health news from NPR is called Shots. Jesus. Could they make it any more obvious? It's the fact that they haven't changed that name yet with like all those studies coming out about like myocarditis and like the general inefficiency of the COVID vaccine is insane. Just very fun. And people are going to, oh, it's not based off the COVID. Yes, it is. It's based off the COVID vaccine. I guarantee you they didn't have it before. But yeah, so this one is about the NFL and smelling salts. So the NFL bans smelling salts, and here's why. Um, yeah, they didn't fully ban it, by the way. This is I looked it up on TikTok or whatever. They just banned the fact that the teams can like just give it to the players, and all the players in the NFL make like millions of dollars a year, so they're just gonna buy their own smelling salts. But no, this is like a fair point, and to be fully transparent, I did watch a documentary about CTE while I was high the other day, so I'm very scared of CTE right now. It is, but CTE is awful. If you don't know, CTE is basically like dementia, but it's like dementia in the body of like a 40-year-old athlete. So just like imagine like your grandpa or whatever or whoever in your life has dementia, or if you've ever seen someone with dementia or like a video of it, imagine that mind but in the body of like a fucking like 6 foot tall 200 pound like jacked dude. Now although 6 foot tall 200 like 6 foot 250 jacked with a dementia brain, that's a dangerous and scary prospect, dude. It's not a fun thing to look at. And they they were using the smelling salts um to like basically like wake themselves up from concussions, which is insane. Like that's how people die is when you play with a concussion. But let's read about this. So NFL players will no longer be able to use smelling salts to get a quick jolt of alertness on the field. On Tuesday, the NFL announced that the substance was banned for safety reasons. The league cited a warning from the FDA released last year informing consumers that smelling salts often marketed to increase alertness and energy have not been proven to be safe or effective for that purpose. Okay, go to GNC or whatever, or like go to the TikTok shop, which you can buy anything on, by the way, but just buy smelling salts and smell them and tell me you don't get a jolt of like energy and stuff like that, dude. It's this just shows how retarded the FDA. Like, no, it's clearly a fact. anyone that's ever used smelling salts before, or even just smelled them for fun, like that's the only context I've ever used smelling salts in before. The first time I used smelling salts, I'm like a short guy, and I used to be pretty fat. I was like 5'5", 230 pounds. The first time I used smelling salts, I had a 48-inch vertical. All right, it's I literally like jumped up in the air and like banged my head on the ceiling. It's smelling salts do like increase your energy, even if it's just for a second. But I think the main reason they did it is because the players would use smelling salts when they had like a concussion or a major head injury to like bring themselves back to life. So, in addition to, sorry, I just had to burp. That was a double burp too, by the way. So, in addition to general safety concerns, the NFL noted the substance can mask symptoms of a concussion. Recent estimates suggest one concussion occurs every 2 NFL games. That is a horrible estimate. There's at least 3 concussions on each team during any NFL game, dude. Anyone that's ever played football before will tell you this for a fact. Like even high school football. I don't think there's like 3 concussions per team in like a high school football game, but like the dudes in the NFL are the best athletes on earth. And it's not even close. People will say the NBA or like soccer, but I completely disregard that. Maybe the rugby players might give them a run for their money, but like Aaron Donald, dude, look up a picture of Aaron. That guy's the most insane athlete on earth. People have accused him of like juicing and stuff like that. Even if I spent my entire life on steroids, I would never come close to looking like Aaron Donald. These guys are the most insane, explosive athletes on earth. That's the main difference between them and like rugby players and soccer players and NBA players. These guys are built for pure, just explosive energy, just pure explosive speed and strength and all that stuff, right? It's what they're built for, no matter the position. In the NFL, almost exclusively, there's a few positions that maybe they need to work on like cardio a bit more here and there, but for the most part, it's just about pure explosive speed and strength. That's what they're built for. And they're the greatest athletes on earth when it comes to explosive speed and strength. There's no one better than them. And so the idea that putting all of the best, most explosive athletes on a field at the same time with rock hard helmets bashing into each other, the fact that some people are like, yeah, there's 1 or 2 concussions here and there. No, it's concussions every single game, multiple times a game. They all have multiple concussions. If you ever watch like an interview with an NFL player and they're like, I don't have any concussions, if that guy's not a kicker, he's a liar. All right. They all have multiple concussions. So San Francisco 49ers tight end George Kittle first revealed the ban in an interview with NFL Network on Tuesday morning, noting that he was distraught by the announcement because he uses smelling salts multiple times throughout a game and wanted to figure out a middle ground with the league. Other organizations like the National Rugby League in Australia and International Boxing Federation have banned the substance. Okay, yeah, those aren't. Yeah, IBF. I don't think IBF is one of the big. Maybe it is. No, IBF is one of the big titles. It's like IBF and IBC. Those are the 2 big boxing things. So we can disregard the National Rugby League in Australia. That's football games in Texas, high school football games in Texas have a bigger, middle school football games in Texas have a bigger crowd than that. All right, so we can kind of disregard them and what they think. But International Boxing Federation, okay, maybe you have a point there. But that's also, and they are pretty similar actually. Now that I think about it, but what are smelling salts? So smelling salts are made of ammonium carbonate. Yeah, it's just like the thing that makes piss smell bad or whatever, or like if you have a cat and you have a litter box, the thing that like really smells bad in there that like stings your nose, that's ammonium. And they basically just like boil it down, turn it into like a physical crystal, and you don't actually inhale it, you just inhale the fumes from it. Like that's how powerful these things are. Like I've done smelling salts before, but I just like kind of keep them away from my nose and just like kind of waft them into my nose, and I'm still like, jeez. Like I'm literally like I flex my neck and my face so hard that I turn into like Dana White. I turn like bright red. But yeah, no, they're definitely very powerful. When dried, the substance looks like table salt and was initially called The salt of Hearthstone, named for the horns of male deer from which it was commonly derived in the 17th century. A liquid form of the substance was first used as a leavening agent before baking soda and baking powder became widely used. That's crazy. They were putting smelling salts in fucking bread. God damn, the kids must have been bouncing off the wall, dude. Imagine eating a grilled cheese and it feels like you did cocaine or something. I'll never do cocaine, but I imagine that's probably pretty fucking close, or at least for like a second. So, today, smelling salts and other ammonia inhalants are used to prevent and treat fainting. The Federal Aviation Administration even requires U.S. airlines to carry them on board. Once ammonia is produced, it's packaged with water and other liquids into small single-use capsules containing a few drops of the mixture. Okay, I've never used the liquid ones before, but I've only used the salt ones. So when the contents are crushed together, a chemical reaction releases ammonia gas and carbon dioxide. It's really gross. I mean, it smells really bad. Dr. Laura Baxley. Oh my god. Jesus fucking Christ. It was it a chick, dude? And look, I'm not saying chicks can't be doctors and stuff like that, but it's like I feel the same way when I see like a female NFL or really like an NFL ref that like never played football, and you can like tell that they've never played football before. It's like when I see that, it pisses me off. Jesus, gotta ruin fucking everything. God, guys aren't allowed to have a high grade concussion on the field and then take a bunch of basically cocaine and wake themselves back up and go out there and fucking finish the game. God, chicks ruin everything. So, yeah, Dr. Laura Baxley. Let's check this lady out, dude. Let's see if Dr. Laura Baxley is a piece. I guarantee you she isn't, dude. If Dr. Laura Baxley was a piece, she wouldn't be worried about ruining our good game. All right? I don't care if these guys are getting CTE and fucking killing their entire family. Oh, she is a piece. God damn it. Laura, what are you doing, Laura? She's not the most attractive woman I've ever seen in my life, but she's a good-looking lady. Dr. Laura Baxley. I don't know if she did it. I don't want to put this on Dr. Laura because she's a piece, dude, but I'm not too pleased with her. Dr. Laura. And she at Ohio State, by the way, that's where she works. She's a neuropsychologist at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. First of all, neuropsychologist. I'm pretty sure psychologists really only worry about the brain in the first place, so I don't think neuro needs to be added to that. But when inhaled, the ammonia gas activates receptors in the nose, which causes a cascade of reactions that cause an increase in respiratory rate, cerebral blood flow, and heart rate. So yeah, cerebral blood flow. Cerebral means like your brain, right? You get more blood to your brain. What fuels your brain? Oxygen. What's in blood? Oxygen. Oh yeah, I would venture to guess. Once again, I don't work at the FDA. I'm not a scientist, but I would say getting more oxygen to your brain allows it to function more. I don't know if better's the word there, but more. So from the medicine cabinet to the field. But this physiological, maybe. No, she is a neuropsychologist. I thought maybe for a second that I misread that she was a neuropsychologist. No, she is a neuropsychologist. Dumbass title. They just added that on there to make her seem more smarter. These stupid science bitches couldn't even make I more smarter. So, but this physiological reaction has also been sought after by some athletes because it leads to a subjective increase in perceived alertness and psyched up energy, according to a recent paper about smelling God, dude. So stupid. It's so dumb. They literally just said, yeah, it makes you breathe faster and gets your blood pumping. And then they were like, a subjective increase in perceived alertness and psyched up energy. Yeah, dude. You're describing the same thing, but you're just putting it in a more like condescending negative way. Subjective increase in perceived alertness and psyched up energy, as opposed to a reaction that causes an increase in respiratory rate, cerebral blood flow, and heart rate. Those are the same things. It's just one is a more mean, condescending way of saying it. Being like, these dumb jocks, they just want to see more hyped up and more energetic. Fucking nerds got to ruin everything. So the use of smelling salts in sports is definitely not their intended use, Baxley said. What's happening with some athletes is they're using them with much higher frequency than its intended use. Smelling salts are widely available and can be purchased over the counter. Athletes like Tom Brady have used them in the past. It's unclear when athletes first started using smelling salts, but Boxley compares their use to superstitious practices. Okay, I'm done. Laura Boxley, you are a piece, unfortunately, but you're just so dumb. Yeah, it's superstitious. Yeah, I know I just said that this thing makes your blood flow quicker and gets more oxygen to your brain and makes you breathe faster and makes your heart beat faster, but it's just a superstition. I know it's just scientifically proved that it's true, but it's just a superstition. Jesus. Laura, I'm pissed at you. So, and this is our piece of celebrity news for the day. This was so funny to me. I always look up celebrity news because it's all funny, but this might be the funniest celebrity news article, or at least headline we've had so far. So this guy, Mark Consuelos, I've never seen him in anything before. I just looked him up real quick. I don't know if he's in fucking, where's the thing where it shows what movies he's in? Is he in any movies? But this article is about Mark Consuelos. I'm trying to see if he's been in any movies. Husband for Hire. Yeah, no, that's like a fucking that's a Hallmark movie. Yeah, I've never heard of any of these movies before, and he also seems like he's like a not a reality show host for. Jeez, this guy. This guy's just a complete retarded tool, and that is reflected in the nature of this headline. So Mark Consuelos admits he's triggered when another guy shakes his hand the wrong way. It's a power move. So let's read about this a little bit. So he's on Live. What the fuck? I guess Live is like a daytime TV talk show. So, America's foremost purse-shaming alpha male and part-time playful himbo legend. I just love the way they write. Like, when I was reading that article about the smelling salts, right, and they were like the subjective increase in like hyped up energy, I was like, dude, that's just you being a condescending asshole, right? That doesn't have any place in science or whatever. But this this being a condescending asshole does have its place here. So let's read this again. America's foremost purse-shaming alpha male and part-time playful himbo legend, Mark Consuelos, had admitted that he gets triggered when another man incorrectly shakes his hand. In absence of his wife and regular co-host Kelly Ripa, the actor kicked off Thursday's live edition by telling fill-in panelist Elle Duncan that he's severely bothered when, upon meeting a strapping fellow, the illusion of male bonding is shattered if their first handshake falls apart. This is so funny. God, I wish I could work at one of these fucking companies and just write these articles. Just talk endless shit about people. Like, who wrote this? Joey Nolfi. He's the host of. Okay, so he's Entertainment Weekly's Oscar expert, RuPaul's Drag Race beat reporter. Joey Nolfi is just a catty ass gay dude, and I fucking love it. This is so funny. This is funnier than anything I could ever hope to say in my life. Like, they're just roasting the shit out of him, being like, "Yeah, I can't become friends with someone because the handshake was weird at first." I remember teaching my sons how to shake someone's hand. The 54-year-old said. Joey, this dude's fucking hilarious. I want to work at TMZ. This is from Entertainment Weekly, but I mean, TMZ is the same thing. I remember teaching my sons how to shake someone's hand. The 54-year-old said, piggybacking off a chat about social communication issues among the Gen Z population. Dude, and just the reason I love these articles so much is it's not like some dumb paparazzi shit where they're like just aggravating these people into like giving them a clip. Not that I think these celebrities are good people or deserve to be left alone or whatever, but it's just like going out there and just aggravating someone into you to saying something dumb is just, that doesn't take any real talent. But Joey Nolfi, this guy, this fucking hilarious dude, this guy has talent because he didn't bait this guy into like saying something stupid or having like some out of hand reaction. He just watched the show and he just let this guy be an idiot on his own, and then he exposed him with his fucking hilarious writing. So Consuelos told Duncan that the art of the proper shake is not too much of a squeeze before launching into a complaint about how others approach the hand-grabbing art form. This is the funniest man ever. Joey Nolfi, the guy who wrote this guy's going to get a Twitter follow. This is the funniest guy ever. You know what I hate, though, sometimes? It's another guy. He comes in to shake your hand, and they do this. He said, tightly grabbing Duncan's fingers. They grab my finger and making your handshake very flaccid, Consuelo said, looking out towards an audience member who the camera showed as laughing and pointing in agreement. It's a power move, right, sir? Consuelo's continued. You know what I do? I go like that, he said, fiercely latching on to Duncan's hand and leaning in toward her. It's a strong lean in too, Duncan observed, before changing the subject. So this is in July during a discussion about eating bananas, Consuelo speculated on the bathroom habits of male British etiquette coach William Hanson, who prefers to slice the fruit instead of eating it with his hand. Dude, when Mark Consuelos woke up that morning and he was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be a fucking alpha male and show everyone how to shake their hands. And then Joey Nolfi, this fucking gay little twink, crawled out of a fucking orgy somewhere in West Hollywood and just roasted his ass to death. And he's an incredibly gay-looking man, visibly gay-looking man. Yeah, that's hilarious. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And so FDA's new drug approval AI is generating fake studies report. This is just a headline, so let's read a little bit more about it. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Secretary of Health and Human Services, has made a big push to get agencies like the Food and Drug Administration to use generative artificial intelligence tools. In fact, Kennedy recently told Tucker Carlson that AI will soon be used to approve new drugs very, very quickly. But a new report from CNN confirms all our worst fears. ELSA, the FDA's AI tool, is spitting out fake studies. Yeah, if you ever needed to know that RFK is, he's not like the rest of his family, right? Like the other Kennedys, RFK Sr., JFK Sr., JFK Jr. even, like all those guys were pretty anti-establishment, and they didn't like bend to anyone's will. RFK's different, and can you blame him? Can you blame RFK for bending to the will of, Palantir or whatever company makes this AI, right? Can you blame him? Because if he doesn't, some MK Ultra'd up asshole is going to come and shoot him in the head, and the government's not really going to do an investigation into it. So, but yeah, he clearly is being paid off by someone. So CNN spoke with 6 current and former employees at the FDA, 3 of whom have used ELSA for work that they described as helpful, like creating meeting notes and summaries. Okay, but yeah, that's not what you do when you approve a drug. But 3 of those FDA employees told CNN that ELSA makes up non-existent studies, something commonly referred to in AI as hallucinating. The AI will also misrepresent research, according to these employees. Anything that you don't have time to double check is unreliable. It hallucinates confidently, one unnamed FDA employee told CNN. Yeah, dude. Go use any AI. Like, even the most advanced AIs that you have to, pay for and shit, they still just lie constantly and, make stuff up. All right. But I'm done, though. I went on my dumb little rants. My mattress collapsed on me. But, yeah. I hope you guys have a good day, a good week, a good year, a good life. And I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. Vincent, if you're still listening at this point, I'm going to do your suggested episodes tomorrow. Or some of your ideas tomorrow. The succubus one I'll probably do for Monday's episode if you're still listening. So, but yeah, have a good day, good week, good year, good life. Good for the rest of your summer, and just throw it in the pit. Throw it right in the pit. The AI, whatever. Sorry, I keep burping. Whatever it is, though, throw it in the pit. Just put it in the pit, bury it, and just let it fester there until it turns into dust. Ping.